Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Christmas Eve, and how are we all doing today? I'm doing great myself. I was just cut off by some asshole that decided to pull out in front of me in the wintertime and then proceeded to do 20 miles an hour lower than the speed limit. Gotta love those people out there, you know? You really gotta love those people out there. So, what should we draw today? I don't know. I never really know what I'm going to draw until I start drawing it. I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to draw. Like, my idea is, here, let's do a little rough draft analysis here real quick. Bust out my nifty rough draft pad. Yeah, what an asshole. Pulls out in front of me. You know, I'm driving along. It's wintertime where I'm at. And this guy is just like, oh shit, there's two cars coming. I better pull out in front of them because otherwise I'll be freaking 2 seconds late to my appointment. What a fucking asshole. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, you know? And that kind of crap happens all the time around here. And it's just like, it's always some old freaking boomer on his damn phone or something. I don't know. I'm just venting. Sorry. It's true, though. It's either that or some college kid, because I live in a college town. You know? I have an idea of, like, a subway train. Like being sucked into a vortex and being, you know, all over the place. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm so frustrated about that guy. No, I'm just playing around. It does piss me off though, you know. It does piss me off when people do that kind of crap. Because it's like, why? Especially in the wintertime. In the summertime it's a little different, you know, but in the wintertime it's like it's actually dangerous when people pull shit like that. And then they do it and they always just do it and do a 10 under the speed limit right afterwards, and it's like, man, it's fucking ridiculous, bro. So we got our subway car here, got the door and everything, so it's like coming out of, like, you know, different vortices. Yeah, you know, it's like when I think of people like that, you know, it's funny, I've been getting into these internet drama for something to do lately, for some background noise. And there's always some internet drama going on about that Dark Side Phil guy. You know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And he seems like the kind of asshole, just from what I've seen about the guy, that would cut somebody off and then do 20 miles an hour under the speed limit afterwards, you know? He seems like that kind of person. And you'd be laughing, ha ha ha! Shut up! Donate it right now! Right now! I watched one of his videos the other day just so I could get an unbiased, completely unbiased, you know, because most of my exposure of that guy is through, like, Kino Casino, and I'm like, well, are they gilding the lily, as they say? You know, maybe I'll check him out and see what the deal is. And nope, they weren't gilding the lily. He is totally that guy. I think I watched for over an hour. And I don't even think I saw barely any video game going on. He'd play a little tiny bit, but the majority of the stream, he was talking about making money, how much money he made, you know, the night before, how much he wants to make tonight, how much he needs to make to stick around, you know. And I was just like, geez, man, you're gonna play the effing game? The fucking game, you know? Sorry. But it's just like, wow. I couldn't believe he was allowed to, you know, I thought you couldn't do that. I thought, like, you weren't allowed to, like, beg or, like, elicit, you know, hey, come over to my channel and pay me for this, you know, hurry up, sale now. So that's my basic idea, people. It's going to be like a train coming in and out of space vortexes, and, you know, I'll probably have, like, you know, a city in the background, kind of, you know. Since it's going to be the subway, you should probably have the city. Some kind of city in the background. Like New York. Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm just fine. I don't want to get copyright stuff. But, yeah, Phil. Phil's the kind of asshole that would cut you off, I bet. Cut you off and then go 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. Thanks a bunch. Merry Christmas, you know? Wow. And it's like, it wasn't really crappy outside. I mean, it's snowy and icy, you know, so there's that. But it's like, it wasn't even that bad out, but it's just the idea of it, you know, like, what the hell? Pull out in front of me. You know, he ran the stop sign, first of all. Like, he came down the hill, and I'm on the highway, like, going like this, and he's right here. And he, like, looked over and saw and, like, barely stopped and then, like, pulled out in front of me. And it's like, for real, man? In his old piece of shit truck. You know, and then he proceeded to go 20 under the speed limit, for Christ's sakes, for the next 5 miles, you know? It's like, come on. Come on. It's ridiculous. That's the Phils of the world. And in his mind, he's probably like, ha ha, got you. Gonna pay you back. And I was watching him. He's a funny guy. He's funny sometimes. I'll watch him. He's not too bad, but a lot of times he is begging his chat and his stream and all that for money. We're not begging, but asking for support. I don't want to say accuse him of anything that can be misconstrued. He's asking the stream for, excessively asking the stream for support. Is that better? That's better. And that's just my opinion. That's from what I've seen. Excessively asking the stream for financial help in the form of super chats and or kicks and or other forms of digital payments. I guess if people give it to him, then I guess who gives a shit, right? Who am I to say anything, you know? I'm nobody. I'm nobody to say anything. Go get him, girl. You know, he would just say I'm jelly anyway. That guy's jealous of my success, my wild success in the internet forum. And he's just some loser that draws funny pictures and talks about random shit on the internet. He wishes he was me. Funny shit. I just got kicked, so, you know, I've been kind of perusing that a little bit more lately. And it's an interesting ecosphere of people, to say the least, on that particular site, you know. Funny shit. Of course, there's the Kino Casino and Phil and a bunch of other randos. And yeah, man. Yep. The Phils of the world cutting people off, getting justice one rolling stop sign at a time. Unreal. Yep. A lot of natural disasters and stuff going on around Phil lately, too. And of course, you know, shit like that doesn't affect people like him. I know people like him in my town who are like the worst people in the world, and they've had such an awesome ride, and they'll live to be 100 years old. I swear they will. And it's just how it is, I guess. Just the way it is, I suppose. People like that live to be 150 years old, win the lottery, all this kind of stuff. And then normal people just kind of get screwed. Oh well. So we're drawing our little train here, and it's warping in and out of space-time and continuum, and as they would say in the Star Trek universe. And it's fluctuating in and out of our space-time continuum, sir. We'll hit it with the plasma filter. Yeah. Christmas Eve, another year. I can't believe the whole freaking year's gone already. What the hell happened? I don't know where it went. It's crazy. Seems like it was yesterday and I was working New Year's Eve at my liquor store job, carding people, and you know, it's crazy where time's going. It makes no sense to me. These poor people that would be, imagine being in this freaking thing. You know, one minute you're on the subway and some guy's trying to sell you batteries on the subway. And next thing you know, you're fluctuating in and out of the space-time continuum. falling to your doom over the skies of said large American city. That'd be crazy. It would be crazy. I don't need any batteries. Go away. Boom, you're in another dimension. Fine. Pop out of that dimension to pop back into your dimension for a minute. To pop back out, to pop back in. To pop back out, to pop back in, you know? That would be freaky. Yep, Christmas Eve. Not everybody's a believer, and that's cool. You know, you got your thing, that's fine. Here in America, it's kind of a tradition, even though there's plenty of people I know that are in no way religious at all, who, you know, are into Christmas, and it's like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. But, you know, it's about family too, you know. I mean, yeah, you could get religious and say it's about Jesus Christ, and you'd be right. You'd be right. I'm no theologian. I'm not gonna be able to answer, but it's about family too, you know. In this modern day and age, you know, I guess you could say the bastardization of it has, you know, turned into this. And Saint Nick, that we all think of, is associated more with the Coca-Cola Santa Claus than anything, which is funny. You know, when you figure that out and you're like, what do you mean he's associated with that, you know? And a lot of people don't realize that the Santa Claus that's widely accepted in the Western world is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus of the 20th century. From advertisement firms. I guess they did a good job. You know? What else can I say? They did a really good job because people are still thinking about it to this day and age, right? So what kind of interesting stuff's going on out there in the world, everybody? How's everybody's life coming along? See, there's some interesting video games coming out soon, and I don't really pay too much attention to that stuff. I'm not much of a gamer. Not that I'm against gaming. I'm just, I've never felt like they're, excuse me, I've never felt like they're immersive enough for me. I just recently saw an ad where this dude was playing a Star Wars game where you could be a pilot of a ship, and I thought that'd be flipping awesome, you know. And I have Squadrons on the Xbox One, and I do like it, you know, my 80-inch TV. But I always thought that's not enough even. It'd be cool to have like the full, you know, VR and some kind of chair that, you know, feels everything. And then I saw this dude on a simulator chair that was like, you know, if the chair is like this, you know, it was on some kind of wheel, half wheel. And I'm sure there's crazier shit out there. But I was like, alright, now video games are getting into immersive enough for me. You know? People like me, it needs to be like the Matrix level of immersive for me to want to play. You know? Otherwise, I don't give a shit. Just staring at a screen isn't good enough. Because I'd rather just, if I'm going to stare at a screen anyway, watch TV or a movie or something, I'd rather just do that and, you know, watch a documentary or a movie I like or something along those lines, you know. Nothing crazy. So if you saw on my channel yesterday, I made a short of a Five Nights at Freddy's guy. My kid's into that, or at least he was. He's probably growing out of it. He's getting older now. I know the movie just came out and he went and saw it and liked it, so I figured I'd make my own Five Nights at Freddy's character from what I, you know, from how they look. They got their own style and everything. I feel like I did a good job. He's all beat up and stuff too, and the short says Freddy did it, so I did that for my kid. Christmas present for my kid. Alright, so we got the foreground of these things bouncing all over the place, you know, the subway coming in and out of the space-time continuum. So in the background we should draw some kind of city, you know. New York? I don't know. Lots of places have subways, so I gotta think, who else has subways? Well, Chicago's got, I think they have an elevated, they have a subway too though, I believe. And Philadelphia has one. Christ, I think even LA has a a subway system at this point. Well, we'll just do New York, I suppose. Fuck it. New York. Christmas movies. What kind of Christmas movies do you people like? Are you hardcore, It's a Wonderful Life, or are you like a Nightmare Before Christmas type of person? That's the kind of person I am, I think. More of a Nightmare Before Christmas type of person, for sure. Totally, for sure, man. I believe that. But, what kind of stuff do you people like? A lot of people like Die Hard, which is a cool movie. I like Die Hard. I always like Die Hard, It's good old 80s stuff. Well, my perspective is all crazy. That's okay, we'll make it like that. There you go, fixed. Anyway, yeah, Die Hard is a interesting Christmas movie, If you want to go the Christmas route, which it is, I guess, it's in the Christmas season. So there's that for sure. But, is it a good Christmas movie? I don't know. I guess it's all up to the viewer, I suppose. A lot of people like it. I've always been more of a fan of the third one, With a Vengeance, myself. I don't know why. I think it's just, by that time I was like 13 and I was a little more, I could understand it a little better, I guess, is what I'm saying, So, but I always liked that one better. And it had Samuel L. Jackson, and he's always good, or at least he was back then. I'll clean all this up, too, when I go over it again for detailing. Right now I'm just kind of doing the the backdrop. So we got our subway here. It'll be pre 9/11, so it'll have the towers over here somewhere. Yeah, we gotta do that. Try to keep some accuracy and have some somewhat famous buildings in the foreground and the background. There's this one building that's on the shore here. It looks like this guy. Couldn't tell you what it's called, the name of the building. I do like architecture. I should know the name. I used to know the name off the top of my head, but now that I'm putting myself on the